Welcome to the Senior Techie Podcast. Imagine your family trying to sell your house, but they don't even know what street it's on.
Oh, that would be a nightmare.
Right, let alone having the keys to the front door. I mean, they are just wandering around town, hoping they stumble across your property.
Which, is exactly what happens to our digital lives when we pass away.
Exactly. So we are officially stepping into week 2 of our series on digital estate and legacy planning. Last week, we set the stage.
Yeah, we did. And today we are tackling something that I think carries a lot of, unnecessary anxiety, really. Creating a digital account inventory.
Yes, the digital account inventory. Our mission today is to make this entirely foolproof and just take all the overwhelm out of the process.
Because it really is a topic that paralyzes people. You hear those words, and your mind probably goes straight to complex spreadsheets.
Oh, absolutely.
Or the idea that you need a background in computer programming just to get your affairs in order. But that fear is entirely based on a misunderstanding of what we're actually building here.
I want to speak directly to you, the listener, right now. You absolutely do not need a spreadsheet degree to do this.
No, not at all.
You have successfully managed households, navigated decades of complex life changes, balanced checkbooks, organized physical paper files. You are completely capable of mastering this.
Very well said. It's so true.
We're simply taking the organizational skills you have honed over a lifetime and pointing them at a new environment.
Right, exactly.
But before we get into the how-tos, we really need to strip away the tech industry jargon.
Yeah.
Because that vocabulary is usually the biggest barrier.
Oh, jargon is the worst.
Yeah.
It really is. Let's translate some of this into the physical world.
Yeah, let's do that. For example, this phrase, digital account inventory. When I first heard it, I pictured this massive ledger with every password, every security question.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, just every single login detail exhaustively mapped out.
Which, by the way, would be a terrifying security risk. And inventory is absolutely not a master list of your passwords.
It's not.
No. Think about it like this. Imagine you have safety deposit boxes scattered at, say, 5 different banks across town.
Okay, I am picturing that.
An inventory is simply the map showing your family the physical addresses of those banks. It is not a list of the keys to open the boxes.
Oh, I see.
It is purely directional. You're drawing them a treasure map without handing them the actual gold.
So it's purely directional. Wow, that completely changes the security risk for me.
It should, yeah. It's
Wow.
much safer.
What about this other phrase that gets thrown around in the materials from the Senior Techie, your digital footprint or your digital legacy?
Oh, right.
Because it sounds so dramatic, like we are leaving footprints on the moon or something.
It does sound a bit like science fiction, I agree. But let's bring it back to your physical mailbox. Over a lifetime, you leave a paper trail.
Sure, yeah. Bills and things.
Exactly. You receive magazine subscriptions, notices from social clubs, utility bills, bank statements, all in your physical mailbox. Well, your digital footprint is exactly that same paper trail, just translated to the internet.
Okay, that makes perfect sense.
It is just the online subscriptions, the memberships, and the recurring bills. So your digital legacy is simply that trail of digital paperwork you leave behind for someone else to close out.
Okay, so if an inventory is just a map of where our accounts live, and our digital footprint is just the online version of our daily paper trail, why do we need to formally write this down?
That's a fair question.
Because I am processing this, and part of me thinks, I know where my bank is. I know where I read my email. Why can't we just rely on our memories?
Because the sheer volume of that footprint grows quietly, almost invisibly, really, over time.
Invisible is a good word for it.
Yeah, I mean, if I asked you to name all your accounts off the top of your head right now, you would probably get the big ones.
Right, like my bank and my email.
You would name your primary checking account and your main email address. But you would almost certainly get halfway down the mental list and realize you've entirely forgotten 3 older email addresses.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Or the streaming service you watch maybe once every 6 months. Or that genealogy website you signed up for 2 years ago to research a great-grandparent.
I have to admit, that hits really close to home. Just last week, I spent 2 hours trying to figure out why I was locked out of an old frequent flyer account.
See? It happens to all of us.
It feels so easy in the moment to just set up an account and think, oh, I'll remember this. It is exactly like tossing a sealed cardboard box up into the attic.
Oh, that is a perfect analogy.
You put it in the corner and think, I know exactly what's in that box. But 5 years later, you're standing up there looking at it, and you have absolutely no idea what is inside.
Exactly. And if you can't remember what is in your own attic, Imagine how impossible it is for your family to guess what is up there when they are trying to sort things out after you're gone.
Yeah, that would be awful.
The real-world consequences of relying on memory can be agonizing during a time when a family is already grieving. The article we're looking at today from the Senior Techie shared a very sobering anecdote about this.
What happened? There was a woman whose husband passed away, and he had handled a lot of the digital administration for their household. And, well, he left behind 4 separate email addresses.
Or email addresses. I mean, I suppose that happens easily enough. You have one for work, one for junk mail, one for family.
Precisely. But none of his family knew which specific email address was connected to the alerts for his retirement account.
Oh, no.
Yeah, they didn't know which inbox was receiving crucial financial notifications. It caused weeks of frustration, locked accounts, and unnecessary legal stress, all because they didn't have a map.
That is just heartbreaking.
It really is. They didn't even know which safety deposit box to look in, to use our earlier analogy.
Especially because it's so preventable. It elevates this whole project from a tedious administrative chore to a really vital act of legacy planning. You are saving your family from a second wave of trauma.
You really are giving them a gift.
And that leads to a great action step for you listening right now. I want you to pause, whether mentally or physically, and just write down 3 accounts you know you have.
That's a great idea.
Just your bank, your email, your Netflix. Just name 3. That is your starting point. You have officially begun your inventory.
It really is that simple to start. But, if we are forced to write this down because our memories fail us, we immediately hit a wall.
Security.
Yes, exactly. Security. How do we make a physical list without leaving our most sensitive passwords sitting out on a desk for anyone to find?
That is my biggest hurdle, honestly. Creating a master list feels like I'm leaving a golden ticket for identity thieves.
Which brings us to the most important point of our conversation today. I want to emphasize this heavily, directly from the source material. You are not writing down passwords here.
Not at all.
None. 0. The inventory template needs only 4 simple columns to be completely effective.
Okay, I want to break down these 4 columns so you understand the mechanics of this.
Yeah.
What are we actually writing down in column 1?
Column 1 is just the name of the service. For example, Gmail, Chase Bank, or Netflix. Column 2 is what it's for. You would write personal email, checking account, or streaming television.
What about column 3?
Well, column 3 is roughly where the login info lives.
Let's pause here because we need to define some more terms. When you say where it lives, what are the options we are dealing with?
It could be a written notebook you keep safely locked in a desk drawer. Or it could be a password manager.
A password manager. Let's use a physical analogy for that.
Okay, imagine a digital master key vault. It is a highly secure, locked digital box that holds all your other keys, and it requires one exceptionally strong master key, your master password, to open it.
I am still a little wary of password managers, to be honest. How is a digital vault safer than my written notebook?
Because a password manager uses heavy encryption. That means it scrambles your data into a really complex math puzzle.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, even the company that built the vault cannot see your keys. Only your specific master password unjumbles the math.
That makes me feel better.
So in column 3, you literally just write, in my Blue Desk notebook or in my password manager vault, you are just pointing to where the key is kept.
Just pointing. Got it. And the last column.
And finally, column 4 is simply noting whether this account has autopay or a recurring monthly cost. Yes or no, and maybe the rough dollar amount.
Let me challenge this entire premise for a second, though.
Sure.
If I'm making these 4 columns and I am absolutely not writing down the passwords themselves on this list, isn't this list completely useless to my family?
How do you mean?
Well, going back to our analogy, it feels like I am giving them the address to a house, but I am purposely withholding the front door key. How does that help them close out my affairs?
That is the most common objection, actually.
Yeah.
And it gets to the heart of how digital estate planning actually works. Here is the underlying logic. If your family has the address to the house, but no key, they can always hire a locksmith.
A locksmith?
Yes. In the digital world, hiring a locksmith means using legal processes. Tech companies and banks have strict terms of service and data privacy laws they must follow.
Right, they have rules.
They cannot just hand out passwords. But if your family knows you have an account at Chase Bank or Apple, they can take a death certificate or a power of attorney to that institution.
Oh, wow. I didn't think of that.
The legal system provides the locksmith. The institution will verify the documents and grant access or transfer the funds.
So because these are legitimate businesses bound by privacy laws, they have established legal protocols for families. The password isn't the only way in.
Exactly. But, and this is the crucial part of digital asset discovery, if your family doesn't know the house even exists in the first place, they don't know to ask the locksmith to open it.
Right. They can't ask for access to an account they don't know about.
Exactly. Those assets, those family photos, those financial accounts are simply lost forever in the digital wilderness. Just knowing what exists and roughly where the key is hidden is the entire battle.
That is a massive paradigm shift.
Yeah.
The list is just to prove the house exists so the legal locksmiths can do their job?
Yes, beautifully said.
It's an act of empathy. Okay, so we have our 4 simple columns: name of service, what it's for, where the key is hidden, and does it cost money every month?
Right.
If I am sitting down to do this, how do I go about finding all these houses without getting completely overwhelmed? Because we just established my digital footprint stretches back decades.
The secret is deconstructing your digital footprint into manageable categories based on how you actually use technology every day.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, we don't want to just read a list of topics. We want to follow your daily digital journey.
Okay, let's trace that journey. If I start from the center of my digital life, the thing I touch first every morning is my device, my phone, or my tablet.
That is the perfect starting point.
Yep.
Category 1 is devices, your phones, tablets, and computers. And the most vital piece of information here is the PIN.
Let's define PIN for anyone who isn't familiar.
A PIN is the combination lock on your digital front door. It is the 4 or 6-digit number you punch into your iPad or phone to wake it up. Your family needs to know these physical devices exist, and they absolutely need that combination lock number to even begin the process.
So once I unlock my phone, where do I go next? Usually I check my email.
Which brings us to category 2, email accounts. And the source specifically notes, we need to include old ones we rarely check.
Really? Why the old ones?
Old email accounts are often the backup recovery addresses for your newer accounts. If your family needs to reset a password, the automated reset link might be sent to an old Yahoo or AOL account you haven't looked at since 2015.
Wow, that makes a lot of sense. I didn't even consider that. And usually my email is the gateway to my money. I get my bank statements and bills there.
Exactly. That naturally leads to category 3, which is financial accounts. This includes your traditional banks and investment accounts.
Sure.
But it also includes digital wallets like PayPal or Venmo. You need to list any digital service that holds a balance or connects directly to your checking account.
And connected to those financial accounts are all the things that drain them every month, which would be category 4, subscriptions.
Yes, exactly.
This is your streaming services, digital newspapers, software licenses, anything with a recurring monthly charge. Now, what about the sentimental things? I have thousands of pictures of my grandchildren on my phone.
That is category 5, photos and storage. Now, this one is full of jargon that often confuses people. You will hear terms like iCloud, Google Photos, or Dropbox.
How should we picture those? Because the cloud sounds incredibly abstract to me.
Think of iCloud, Google Photos, and Dropbox as digital off-site storage units.
Off-site storage units. Okay.
You know how you might rent a physical climate-controlled unit across town to safely store your old family photo albums in case your house floods?
Yeah.
That is what the cloud is. It is just a highly secure, massive server facility located somewhere else in the country, safely holding your digital albums.
I really like that distinction, an off-site storage unit. But the source material also mentions external hard drives in this category. How is that different from the cloud?
An external hard drive is a physical piece of equipment that lives in your house. Think of it as a small, physical filing cabinet that you literally plug into the side of your computer with a cable.
Oh.
So you need to list both the off-site storage units, the cloud, and the physical filing cabinets plugged into your computer.
We absolutely have to document the memories. And finally, where do we share those memories? Social media.
That is our final category. Social media and online communities, Facebook, the Nextdoor app, genealogy sites.
Okay, looking at this journey, we have devices, which lead to email, which lead to financial accounts and subscriptions, then our photo storage, and finally social media.
That's the list.
Honestly, doing this all at once sounds like deciding to clean out an entire 2-car garage in one afternoon. I feel exhausted just summarizing it.
And you absolutely should not treat it like cleaning the garage in one weekend.
Good, because I wouldn't want to.
The most reassuring strategy recommended by the senior techie is this. Do not do it in one sitting. Pick just one category per day.
Oh, that's much better.
On Monday, Just list your devices and email addresses over a cup of coffee. On Tuesday, sit down for 15 minutes and think about your bank accounts. By the weekend, you will have a solid, comprehensive draft without ever feeling that sense of panic.
That makes it infinitely more manageable. Just clean one drawer of the garage a day.
And there is a critical reminder from the source here. Be sure to include joint accounts used by your spouse.
Oh, that's a good point.
This is especially true for streaming services or shared household financials. You should frame this as a household inventory, not just a personal one.
Right.
If the Netflix account is in your name, but your spouse watches it every night, it needs to be on the list so it doesn't accidentally get shut off during a transition.
Okay, so we have our categories and we have our 4-column template. The practical question now is about maintenance.
Right, where to keep it.
Yeah, where should this actual list live? Should it be a physical piece of paper or should I be typing this up on the computer?
The beauty is that no special software is needed. A spiral notebook you buy at the grocery store is perfect, or a basic Word document you print out.
Okay, simple enough.
The source suggests keeping a physical folder labeled digital info in a safe filing cabinet. Because, as they put it brilliantly, a paper backup has never needed a software update.
I am processing that. A paper backup never needed a software update. That is so true. It is immune to a computer crash.
Exactly.
But let me ask you this, because I know some of our listeners really prefer typing to handwriting, especially if their handwriting is getting harder to read.
Sure.
Is it actually safe to keep this list on my computer?
It is safe, provided you meet 2 important conditions. First, the device itself, the computer, must have a password on it. It must have that combination lock on the front door we discussed.
Right. And the second condition?
Second, the computer must have a backup system in place in case the hard drive fails. But even if you type it out, the strongest recommendation is redundancy.
Meaning, keep it in 2 places.
Yes. Keep both a printed physical copy in your filing cabinet and a digital copy on your computer.
So listener, here is your action step for today. I challenge you to grab a piece of paper, draw those 4 columns, name what it's for, where the key is, monthly cost, and fill in just 5 rows today. Just pick your top 5 most important accounts.
That is an excellent low-pressure start.
But wait, I do have a troubleshooting question that I know will come up.
Let's hear it.
What if I am trying to fill out my 5 rows and I know I have an account? Let's say it's that genealogy site, but I completely cannot remember which old email address I used to sign up for it.
Ah, yes. The lost accounts.
Yeah, how do I find these lost accounts without spending hours guessing passwords?
The source provides a fantastic practical tip for this. Go to your current email inbox and use the search bar.
Okay.
Type in terms like welcome, verify your email, or thanks for signing up.
Oh, wow.
When you sign up for any digital service, they almost always send an automated welcome receipt. Searching those specific phrases acts like a metal detector, surfacing old accounts you've completely forgotten about.
Oh, that is incredibly clever. It filters out all the daily junk mail and goes straight to the account origins. I am going to use that trick myself tonight.
It's a lifesaver.
You know, I think the overarching theme here, the golden rule of this whole digital inventory process, is simply don't let perfect be the enemy of done.
That is the exact right mindset. It is meant to be a living document. You are not going to remember every single account on your first pass, and that is perfectly fine.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The goal isn't a flawless test score. The goal is creating a functional map.
Right. You just leave the notebook in your desk, and next month when a random billing email comes in for a digital magazine you forgot you subscribed to, you just open the notebook and add a new row. It breathes and grows with you. It is a continuous process, not a one-time exam.
It takes the pressure off entirely. You are just sketching out a helpful map over time, ensuring your family isn't wandering blindly when they need direction the most.
I feel so much better about this whole process, and I hope you listening do too. Knowing what we have and where it lives is profoundly empowering.
It really is.
Now, looking ahead to next week, we are going to tackle week 3 of this series, and we are moving on to the next logical step in our legacy planning.
Yes, now that we have drawn the map, the next question is how to safely share it.
Exactly. We're going to explore the harder question of how to safely share access to these accounts with a trusted person, but doing it without writing your passwords on sticky notes and without sending them in unsecured text messages or emails.
Which people do all the time.
Yeah.
But there are surprisingly easy, secure ways to do this.
It will be a very practical conversation that builds directly on what we started today.
I'm looking forward to it.
I am looking forward to it too. But before we go, I want to leave you, our listener, with a question to ponder as you go about the rest of your day. Think back over the last 10 years. What is the one type of account you strongly suspect you've signed up for in the past decade? Maybe for a free trial or a quick discount, and completely forgotten about. You might be surprised what you dig up when you start looking. This podcast was brought to you by The Senior Techie. It's available on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and Spotify. If you'd like to receive their free newsletters, you can subscribe at subscribe.theseniortechie.com.